Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, get on your feet for the final round of Battle Brackets! I hope you appreciated that intro. I've been sitting here. I FaceTime Tally. Let's look at the timestamps here. I FaceTimed Tally about, if I had to guess while I'm pulling it up, I'm gonna guess over an hour ago. Oh yeah. It's been over an hour and a half ago. I FaceTime Tally and told her that I was setting up to record this podcast and I'm just now starting. What have I been doing for the last hour and a half, you may ask? Um, I've just been messing around with my soundboard and we're going to have some fun with it. You guys got to hear a little bit of the fun and messing around that I did. That intro with the little echo, that all came from the soundboard. That was a lot of fun. Um, so now, if you'll let me pull up the lyrics here to one of the best songs off of 21 Pilots' new album, Clancy. We're going to go into the lyrics from Lavish. We're going to go into the second verse, a little bit of a rap, and it is very fun. But allow me, if you will, to change my voice.
Got that penny loafer squeak across linoleum. Big flex, complex, Napoleon. I say whatever and whatever that I want. Sip a Capri Sun like it's Dom Perignon. This is so hard to read while what do you call this? This filter is over my voice. It is messing with me so hard. I'm talking tough happily with someone in front of me. Room on the payroll. Everyone can live comfortably. I'm coming in hot. Hot shot hypocrisy. NDAs for the folks that talk to me. So tell your friends at FollowBots Anonymous, keep it cool, keep the mood androgynous. I can't read with this filter, it's killing me. I see your problem is your proctologist got both hands on your shoulders while you're bottomless. Mentally, that's an image that I really like to think of. I'm sitting at the doctor's office and the proctologist is like rubbing my shoulders while I'm bottomless on the table. I can't do this anymore.
Oh, jeez Louise. That was rough. All right. Um, so yes, it is now the final round of battle brackets. We have the Pen who beat out construction paper last week by a voting percentage of 75% of the votes going towards pens, with 25% going towards construction paper. And then I don't remember what it was for whiteout and the three ring binder. I think it was closer. I think it was 60-40. Um, yeah, 60-40. And the three ring binder beating out whiteout. So we changed up a little bit the structure of battle brackets for this round. We're going to have the two arguments as we've done every week. But this week, I had the two remaining contestants in the battle bracket. Oh, I keep hitting my mic. I apologize. This is some amateur podcasting at its finest, or maybe at its poorest. I'm not entirely sure here. I just did it again. I got to move my hands. Hands are now on the back of my head. I apologize. Um, okay. But yes, so like I said, the structure's a little bit different. We have the initial arguments as we've had every week now. However, I had the contestants send in their arguments a couple days early, and what I did, and they were aware of this. I'm not like cheating. I sent the arguments to the other party. So the pen got the three ring binder's argument, and the three ring binder got the pen's argument, and they were able to also provide another minute of like a rebuttal. So we're going to get to hear an initial argument and then a rebuttal after hearing the initial arguments. And then as we've done 1,000 times, let's go to at Tender Mercy Studios on Instagram to the stories. And for my sister who doesn't understand how Instagram stories works, Taya, I'm talking to you. Stories only last for 24 hours. So you got to go vote Wednesday. Typically, when I record, I'm usually recording a Tuesday evening. I will edit the podcast as soon as I finish. I apologize. My heel was kicking my office chair. I am like all jittery. I'm amped up. I'm excited. Um, but yeah, no. So stories, I upload them typically either if I'm still awake, like Wednesday morning at midnight, I will upload the polls then, or I'll just do it when I wake up in the morning. Either way, they only last for 24 hours, so you really only have Wednesday to vote. If you're lucky, you might be able to catch it Thursday morning. But I wouldn't wait till Thursday morning to vote. I wouldn't. I think you're silly if you do. um, we got some items on the agenda today. Number one being it is June 2nd. It is Sunday, June 2nd. This episode's going to come out third, 5th, June 5th. However, I just want to give a couple of happy birthday shout outs of people that I know are having birthdays. Uh, so, with today being June 2nd, we have my good friend Stephen Brimhall, who will be on the podcast. It is in the works. I just got to schedule it and we'll get it going. We're actually going to do essentially like a Zoom style podcast. We have the software here now at Tender Mercy Studios to do like a Zoom like interview. And we're going to talk to him a little bit about his profession. He doesn't know what we're going to talk about. So if he listens to this, he'll get a little bit of a heads up, but I doubt he listens anymore. Um, but we'll talk to him a little bit about his profession, moving away from home. So for those of you that might be moving away from home soon, we'll get some of his tips and tricks because I live about 5 minutes down the road from where I grew up. So my moving away from home doesn't really count. He lives a couple states over. So um, but we're gonna have Steven on. Happy birthday, Steve. I know I already texted you, but this is for the listeners to give you a happy birthday. And if you were like, hey, the name Steven sounds familiar, he was the eraser contestant. So thank you, Steve. And then my favorite set of twins. I don't even know if they know that they're my favorite set of twins, but it's really only because I don't know many other twins. But regardless, they're still my favorite set of twins, anyways. We have Jake and Claire Christensen. I know for a fact Jake doesn't listen to this. If he does, I'd be extremely surprised. So Jake, if you listen to this, let me know. I love you, but I doubt you listen to this. And then Claire, uh, I guess you could say kind of like a coworker of mine. Not really though. We both work at the hospital, but she's in the emergency department and I'm in HR. So you can imagine that we don't overlap at all. But anyways, happy birthday, Claire and Jake. And Claire, for with the listeners, if you remember the marker debater, our good friend Gage, that's his wife. So, um, happy birthday to you guys. We're gonna move on. That was a rough happy birthday bit, but I couldn't let it go. Um, you'll remember 2 episodes ago we talked about a certain CEO of a company known as Gains in Bulk posting a video that went viral, talking about how women cannot be fat and they have to be extremely horny all the time. And I apologize for being so crass about it, but that was literally the message that he shared. Um, and actually, we have the capability to listen to the audio. So why don't we let me pull up the video and I'll play it from my phone. So this way you guys can actually hear the audio. I think that that's going to be the best way. So you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. I'm sure most of you listening have already heard it, but let's go through it again.
So there's this theory I have about when you're looking for a wife, and I call it the 2 FPs that you want. The first FP is called fat potential. So you want to have no FP on that side. So you gotta look at her family, her mom, like some of those pieces. Is she gonna blow up on you after she has kids? The second one is you want her to have a lot of FP2, which is freaky potential. You know, you might find her at church and she's a good girl, but you want to make sure she's got high FP on the freaky scale, low FP on the fat scale.
Yeah, that's our good friend over at Gains in Bulk. Now let's go over to his apology. It's going to take a second.
Video tomorrow to explain
kind of what happened today. Um, uh, yeah, there's a lot of pieces behind the scenes that people aren't aware of, and it doesn't excuse like people getting hurt by it though. And that's what I just want to apologize for, is anyone that got hurt by it. Like, wasn't my intention. Um, yeah, that wasn't my intention. So I'm sorry if it hurt you. I think I said it. I said things in a way that I should not have.
Not in a way he should
And,
have,
I stand behind the idea that
but he's
you should
defending
be
himself
aligned to the
here.
people that you want to marry. If you are someone who wants to be very sexual, you need to marry I think I want to marry someone who aligns to that. If you're into fitness and health, I think you want to marry someone who aligns to that.
I agree. We all want to be with someone who is like-minded. However, saying that if you are fat and not horny 24/7, um, that just means that no one wants you. Okay, all right. But the best is this. A couple days ago, I'm not sure exactly when, he posted a an update for the rest of us. And I'm just gonna read it. I don't have the actual video. But he said, "I'm sure most of my followers saw my viral video about FP. Most people don't know the backstory though. Oh, I'm so glad he's gonna explain it for us. Oh yeah. Tons of people have asked why I took it down. And it was because I decided I no longer aligned to the post and its intention to create virality, specifically through controversy, and because I care about protecting the emotions of the people that I love that were being attacked for it." Oh, so no, you still stand behind the message. You just don't like that it created controversy. Or, in other words, that people don't agree with you and that hurt your feelings. But we'll continue on. "Here's the story," and that was all in caps. Yes. "We decided to run a test based on an idea that I had about intentionally farming controversy. Once the post reached 2,000 views and only had 2 comments, both people laughing at the post, we planted 20 negative comments. By 40,000 views, the post had over 75 comments, and I learned a lot from this. First, creating hate leads to more hate. Second, being people are easily is all in caps, influenced by others' opinions. Thousands saw it on Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube with no negative planted comments. Those platforms had hardly a reaction. Less than 10 comments with a total of almost 8,000 views. We consume everything through the lens of our own beliefs and the beliefs of those that we are around. Fox News and CNN can make the exact same video or situation sound like completely different things based on the lens they choose to show it through. Either way, we're committed to post things that are intended to inspire hope, possibility, and not intentional controversy. Of course, some of it will be controversial, but that won't be my opinion." You did it! You did it! Guys, he tricked us. He got us. Can you believe that? This whole time I was like, "Man, can you believe he said that?" And it was all a scientific exploration of the human psyche regarding social media. I can't believe I fell for it. I really can't. I thought I was very level-headed. I thought that I had a good head on my shoulders. People have told me that. Um, but man, this one just, I mean, it was a sucker punch, side swipe out of nowhere. You kidding me? It was all a prank. Oh man, no wonder he's the CEO. No wonder. He knew it from the beginning. And me, a simple commenter, I didn't see it. Anyways, um that's enough for me today on that topic. I I I don't understand. I don't. And I guess that's why I'm not a CEO. I'm a low life in HR. I I should have known that him planting 20 negative comments, that was what drew me out of the woodworks. That's what got me. It wasn't the the hundreds of people that I know, love, and respect also commenting going, "Hey, actually, you swung and missed. The mark was right here and you were way off." And, it wasn't them. It wasn't my wife and my sister-in-law and my brother-in-law, reaching out, showing me the video, and them being like, "Well, that was wrong." It was the 20 negative comments. I can't even tell you what accounts posted them, but I will say this, that's what got me. It wasn't the loads of women and men too. I will say this, I was pleasantly surprised with the amount of men that showed up in the comments to defend women as well, but I will say this, women, way to go. Led the battle, led the front, like the charge, led the front there, and I was more than happy to just get in behind the ranks and push where I could, but it wasn't them. It wasn't the women that showed up and said, "Whoa, you missed, buddy." Nope. Those 20 comments, those 20 negative comments. Because he's right. I didn't go to Facebook and post. I didn't go to Twitter or Instagram, or I did go to Instagram. I didn't go to TikTok. Didn't go to YouTube. He got me, dude. It was the Instagram. It was 20 comments. Well, we're gonna move on. Um, Baby names. I am still very disappointed in you loners out there, but it's okay. My wife and I have found a baby name. It's not like for sure yet. It is in my mind. I'm 100% behind this name. Tally really, really likes it, but she's still keeping her options open, which I think is silly. We have 17, no, today is 16 weeks. Hey, Tally, today is June 2nd. Happy 24 weeks, Tal. Love you, baby. Uh, you may wonder why I'm a little more energetic and loud. It's because, yes, it is 8:22 in the evening right now, but Tally and Jack are in the valley. They're going to a family member's funeral tomorrow. Um, and so I'm here in the house alone. I wasn't gonna be able to get off work for this one, so I'm here. But they're going and enjoying time with family in this difficult time. Um, so I'm trying to make the best of it here by recording this podcast. Um, but yeah, we'll continue on. Um, yeah, we're 16 weeks away from due date today. Um, and no one has even given me one baby name suggestion. So it's too late now. Still send them in. Tally might need some help, but I'm pretty set. Um, I will say this, the initials, if you guys want to try to guess what it is, if you guys guess like the full name, I will I will have you on the podcast personally. There are some exclusions to this. If you are directly related to Tally or I, as in like immediate family, so Joe, Lindsay, Tebecca, Jashley, Nathan, Livy, Taya, Kaya, Colby, Celeste. Uh, I will let Sloan, Autry, um, Reagan, and Maddie guess because I don't think that they've been around close enough to have maybe picked up on it. Um, I don't know who we've said it around yet, but anyways, um, if those are your names, you're not allowed to guess. But for the rest of you, try to guess. And if you guess it, I'll have you on the podcast. But the initials of our baby for the name that we have so far is N. N as in Neverland, S as in Summer, and S as in Schneider. I'll give you that. Last S is Schneider. Um, so you only have to guess two names now. So hopefully that helps. All right. Um, let's see. We're at 20 minutes of recording. After I edit this, there could be. That's definitely going to be shorter, but that's okay. Um, what do you guys want to talk about? All right. Dude, this is rough. I just drew the biggest blank. Oh, hold on. Big week this week in politics. Um, Regardless of which way you lean, I'm not going to try to take a side here, although you may kind of pick up on my vibe a little bit, maybe, even though I'll try to remain as neutral as possible. Um, Former President Donald Trump this week was in was convicted of, I think it was 34 felonies. Um, like him or hate him, that's a lot of felonies. The worst though was there was a representative, I think here from Arizona. Now that I'm thinking about it, let me see if Tally sent it to me. Um, Going through mine and Tally's text, she sends me lots of cute pictures of Jack. Um, no, she didn't send it to me. But it was a representative from Arizona who said that the average American commits 3 felonies a day. And so, if you think about it, Donald Trump was only convicted of 34 felonies, which is 11 and one third days of being an average American. Are we really going to jail this man over 11 and one third days? Really, guys? Come on. He's just being an average American. If that's the case, we might as well lock everybody up. I will say this. It is 8:30 almost here, and I've only committed 2 of my 3 uh typical felonies that I would commit in a day. Um but I will say this, none of the felonies that I've committed in the last 25 years of my life, and I'm 25, so that should help. Um Out of the last 25 years, all of the felonies that I've committed, not one of them was paying off a porn star. Not one. Close. There were a couple times. It was touch and go there for a little bit, but no one's found out. But so, um, yeah. So, what you're gonna throw him in the bin because he committed 34 of them? Come on, wake up, America! All right, guys, it is time for the final round of battle brackets. Like I said last week, though this is the, and I'm doing the air parentheses, final round of battle brackets, it's not the end. Okay. We have the final matchup of 2 people. Huh? Is that a foreshadowing moment there? I don't know. But we have the pen going up against the 3-ring binder to finally settle the debate of which school office supply, however you want to look at it, which of these supplies is the very best. We started out with the eraser, the pen, the notebook, the I don't even I get better go pull up my list again. Um I know my sister Taya had something and I haven't even thought about this list. Um doo, 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 doo. All right, so we had the highlighter, we had the safety scissors, construction paper, pens, folder, glue stick, pencils, crayons, rulers, liquid glue, notebooks, hand sanitizer, markers, eraser, 3-ring binder, and whiteout. So, I mean, all of the basics, they're all there. And it is down to the final 2. So, if I may, ladies and gentlemen, put in your earbuds, put your phone down, close your eyes, and let's get ready for this battle. We have the pen going against the 3-ring binder. Michael, take it away for us.
Going into this final matchup, I wanted to sing the praises of pens, but the more I started to consider 3-ring binders as an opponent, the more I started to realize I have some problems. When that 3-ring binder starts to dry rot, that cardboard core is going to become flimsy and structurally unsound due to rain or handling or whatever. Another problem, where do you keep your 3-hole punch at home for your collection of binders? And with a collection of binders, that is necessary. for the packet of paper you're using, you need a bunch of different depths. Oh, I need a 3-inch binder. Oh, no, actually, I can do just fine with a 1.5 inch. And another piece about the collection of binders, what about different paper sizes? Obviously, we have 8.5 by 11 in America, but what about the international standard of A4 size paper? What about legal size paper? That seems like a problem to me. Another piece, if binders are such an effective solution over folders, why do so many of them have folder pockets inside of them? Aren't the prongs enough? I think pens are more versatile because all you need is a pen. Binders, you need a lot.
Thank you, Michael. Now, give it up for Tanner and the three-ring binder.
So I don't think it's much of a surprise that the pen made it to the finals. I mean, pens are used every day by so many people and they're quite loved, really. But what comes to my mind is if you take a 3-ring binder and you take a pen and you lock them in a vault for 100 years, you open it after 100 years, that 3-ring binder, it's still going to be in perfect condition. The pen, the ink will have dried up and it's not going to be any good. It won't work, so you're just going to have to get a new one. Pens are easily replaceable. They have not been perfected. The 3-ring binder, it is perfected. You could take one 3-ring binder, fill it with a whole bunch of important documents, invoices, whatever, and keep it for 50, 60, 70 years, and it'll still work great. You won't ever need to replace it. The pen, we constantly go through so many pens, are always needing replaced.
All right. Now that we got the fun stadium introductions out of the way, um, we just heard the first two initial arguments. Don't go vote yet. Everyone, slow down. That's why I told you put your phones down. You got to listen to the rebuttals now. Okay, so now that you've heard Michael and then Tanner, Michael's going to hit us with the rebuttal of Tanner's argument.
The argument that if you lock a pen and a binder in a vault together and the pen will fail, I think that's actually a pretty decent argument for the pen. To me, I see it as something that would exemplify that the pen is really just a tool. It's not something you have to support and coddle like with a binder, where you are, again, required to have a 3-hole punch or some sort of hole punching device. And even in some instances, you have to have the hole reinforcement stickers to make sure that the holes you've made aren't going to tear out and your papers fall. With the pen, yes, the ink will dry up. Eventually, parts will break. That makes perfect sense. But in reality, the importance of the pen is not the pen itself, but in its replaceability. You can have your pen fail, and you go get another one, and it will function the exact same way, always. That makes it a good tool because you know what to expect.
And that was Michael's rebuttal. And now for the final argument, I guess you could say, the rebuttal, the final instance of this first battle bracket of all time. We have Tanner with his rebuttal against Michael's initial argument.
Since I already gave my argument on why I think the 3-ring binder outlasts the pen, I don't think there's much more I need to argue, so I'm going to leave you with a poem on the nature of the 3-ring binder. 3 rings hold it all in place, a keeper of secrets, a holder of space. For papers and dreams, for plans and for schemes, a trusted companion, an organizational theme. With a click and a clack, it opens wide, a repository of thoughts where ideas reside, a symbol of order in a chaotic tide, a humble hero by your side. The 3-ring binder, everybody.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was it. That is battle brackets. Again, next week, come back as there's going to be a fun final twist. And yeah, now is the time to go vote. You may now pick up your phone. If you touch your phone anytime during the arguments, you're mean and you don't follow instructions very well. Maybe you should work on that. But regardless, and backtrack. I'm going to backtrack here a little bit. I guarantee you during this, I'm listening to this and I was holding my phone, probably looking at something. So I don't even follow my own instructions. I'm just calling that out now. June 5th at, probably like 8 in the morning approximately, I'm going to be holding my phone listening to this, and I'm gonna go, "Oh, he got me." So, all right. Thank you guys so much for this fun little ride of battle brackets. It's not the final battle brackets. We will have more coming in the future. We'll probably give this segment a little bit of a break, since it is a pretty demanding one in the sense of I have to kind of stay on top of people to make sure we get recordings because everyone's busy and battle brackets is not their number one priority, which I don't understand. It should be, but um, I can only ask so much. But um, get on your Instagram right now. Open the app. It's going to be that little rainbow icon that looks like a Polaroid camera. Click on that. It's going to open up. You're going to see a couple posts, maybe from a friend or from a page that you follow. You're going to see some stories up at the top from friends and pages that you follow. Um, Tender Mercies only has like 60 something followers at the moment. So those are some rookie numbers. And that's okay. Growing this podcast is a slow but sure thing. Um, but you're going to want to go to the search bar and you're going to want to look up Tender Mercy Studios. You're going to want to click on the page that comes up and you're going to click on the stories icon or the profile picture that should have like a rainbow circle around it. That will then open up the stories. There, you'll see the first story is actually not for you. It is the instructions on how to listen to the podcast with like the link that'll take you to where your podcast streaming service of choice is. So go there or you don't need that first one. I apologize. I am all over the place. Sorry. You're going to want to skip that first story. But then the second story is the one that you're going to want to pay attention to. It's going to say who won with probably 3 question marks. From there, you are going to tap on the item that you feel had the best argument here today. That will then cast your vote, and that will determine who gets to come back for one extra week for our special finale. All right. Um, if you guys wouldn't mind doing me a favor, um, I'm trying to grow this podcast in a way that is still fun, entertaining, and um, engaging for you guys. Because I really enjoy the people. I enjoy knowing that people listen to this. Um, that is pretty somewhat egotistical. So shouldn't have admitted that one on the mic, but I did. It's too late now. I already said it, and it's going to make it into this final cut of the podcast. But that's okay. What I need from you guys is to get on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, Amazon, or Audible, whatever you're listening to this or this podcast on, whatever your streaming platform of choice is, don't matter to me. Um, Go find their rating system, rate the podcast. Before I've said, give me 5 stars. I'm gonna be honest. If it's not 5 stars, that's okay. But if you give me less than 5 stars, I fully demand and expect a written review as to why you put it down so low, so that I can address it on the podcast, so we can talk about it face to face via podcast. No, I would really appreciate having some interaction there, so that I know if I'm missing something. So there's that. Um, oh, I'm so glad I thought of this. I know that I was kind of coming to an end. That's okay. Um, this week I had one question that came in from that link that I put out last week before the podcast asking for people to send in some questions. And that was fun. And actually, what I'll do this week is I'm going to put like a confessions sticker up on my personal Instagram at TJPS3, asking for some anonymous confessions. The only way I could see who it is that confessed to this is I'd have to pay like $7 to see who sent it. Not doing that. So you can rest assured that your confessions are going to be 100% anonymous because I'm not paying $7 to figure out who told me that one time in high school they went and bought French fries from McDonald's and forgot to pay. I don't care. You could tell me you murdered somebody and I wouldn't pay $6 to or $7 to find out who it was. So, go to my personal Instagram, find that link. I'll put it up today of the release of this episode, so June 5th. If you go to my podcast or to my personal page anytime today on June 5th, I will have a link up where you can send in an anonymous confession and we're going to share them. I would love to read some fun anonymous confessions to the people. Even if you put your name on it, I won't read it out loud unless you ask me to, but then what's the point? It's not really a fun confession. But no, so last week we talked about some conspiracy theories. There we go. And I had a couple people ask for more in-depth conversation on some of them. Tanner being the main one. So, all right. Tanner was the one who asked most about it, so we're going to go into Tanner's. Um, he wanted to know about the moon landing. Let's go more into the moon landing. Here's what I do know. Um, let's go back to the 1960s, 1950s. The 1950s were shortly coming out of World War II, and um, you can kind of think about it this way. I think it's really going to help people understand. Um, World War II, you kind of had like we'll say D12, the band D12, going up against One Direction. Jeez, I'm hitting stuff on my desk. Um, and and we'll say D12 are the bad guys. I'm sure that they would appreciate that persona, anyways. D12, they're the bad guys, right? One Direction forms and beats them. Okay, they shut down D12. One Direction now reigns supreme, as they did in 2011. And I understand that D12 and One Direction did not coexist in time. That's okay. It's just you just need to understand the idea that there are two boy bands that are very different battling it out. Now, you have the One Direction people, uh, and One Direction's on top of the world. But then you have your Zayn Maliks. They're too good for the group. They have this very strong feeling that they're going to do better with a solo career than they would with the group, and they break away. We refer to those people as Russia and whoever else, but mainly Russia. That's the one we got to focus on today. Zayn Malik is the Russia of World War II. Okay. So now you have Zayn Malik who's trying to do it all and be the man by himself. Well, One Direction's still together, boys. It's not over. But they're weaker than before. I will say that. They are weaker. And in my personal preference, Zayn Malik was maybe the least talented member of One Direction. Besides the point, Trey, besides the point, stick to the topic. Moon landing. Okay. So now you have the US of A, the Harry Styles, if you will, and Niall Horan. There's an East and a West. So Niall Horan and Harry Styles make up the United States. I just claim those two. And Louis Tomlinson can be Canada because we like him too. And Liam, you're like South America. Anyways, I'm way off topic here. That's okay. So we have Niall and Harry trying to compete with Zayn and winning, really. Harry and Niall have had more successful careers since the breaking up of One Direction. Zayn was pretty successful right off the bat, much like the USSR, baby. One key problem, though, there was something up in the sky that no one had ever been to, and Zayn really, really wanted to be there first. However, the first person to get there, Harry Styles. And I am hearing some noises behind me, and I'm home alone. This is freaking me out. This is some spooky stuff, dude. Okay. I'm gonna continue on. I'm a big boy. Nothing can scare me. Take a drink of my Mountain Dew and keep it going. All right, stick with the program. Um, so anyways, now imagine this. Zayn is getting close to becoming the greatest solo artist of all time. But, or no, we'll say this. Not or Zayn is closest to getting a Grammy for the first time ever out of that group. So, what did Harry and Niall do? They create their own Grammy. Then that way, they had a Grammy first. It makes sense. It really does make sense, right? Zayn broke away first. He's been working on his personal music career longer than the rest of them. So, in a timeline sense, Zayn would be the closest to getting a Grammy. I don't know if Zayn's won a Grammy or not, but Harry definitely has. And similar to the moon landing, did Harry make it up? Maybe. All right, so that's how the moon landing worked. I feel very certain that we made it up. And again, I think it was a phenomenal uh political move. I really do. Because with the faking of the moon landing, I think that we absolutely destroyed the spirits of the USSR. I think that really did change the trajectory of history. All right. Um. Okay. And then the New World Order. I think that was the, or no, was that the Jet? No, not JetBlue. Maybe it was JetBlue. Anyways, New World Order. Let's go into that one just a little bit. Um, I believe it was Eminem who rapped about a new world order in one of his songs, one of the few that I have on my phone from him. That's okay. All right. But let's dive into what ChatGPT said about Project Bluebeam, not whatever JetBlue or whatever I said. New World Order. Where are you, ChatGPT? Help me out here. Flat Earth, vaccine, Paul McCartney, Illuminati, Roswell, chemtrail, New World Order. Here we go. The New World Order theory asserts that a secretive global elite is planning to establish an authoritarian world government. Proponents argue that powerful organizations like Bilderberg Group, the Trilateral Commission, and various international banks manipulate global events to concentrate power. They point to increasing globalization, the erosion of national sovereignty, and the implementation of surveillance technologies as steps towards this goal. Historical references to a New World Order by influential leaders in documents like the Protocols of the Elders of Zion are cited as evidence of a long standing plan. I won't lie, I'm sure that there are probably writings out there that point to like a New World Order. I think that a lot of Christianity is based on the idea that Jesus Christ is going to come down and like set up, you know, his religious government and be like, hey, this is the way we're doing stuff. Um, but to think that even like enough people on this planet could get on board and still have enough power, you know, to pull this off, I can't imagine. Even like I don't know what the Bilderberg Group is or the Trilateral Commission is, you know, but when you think about it, you have these big corporations, groups, whatever. You have the banks. If you think that I live in Snowflake, Arizona, I don't even know the 34 counts that Trump was convicted of as the felonies, other than the one that was a payoff. You know what I mean? So to think that there's going to be this new world order, the only way I'm going to know that this new world order has taken over is they got to come show up to my house. They got to come knock on my door personally. The president or the king or I don't know what the title of this new world order, what the lead person's going to be called. But first of all, you have to pick that person. And you think that these guys of power, and I'll probably say this, are probably all men because they don't think that women can have good ideas. That's not my opinion. That's just how men that typically try to do this kind of stuff think. Um, they're gonna have to come knock on my door personally, otherwise I'm gonna laugh in their face and be like, "Yeah, you can't tell me what to do." And even when they knock on my door, I'm gonna close it in their face because I don't want people soliciting at my door. Doesn't change me. You're gonna raise prices? Fine, but you're gonna have to raise my salary. Otherwise, this doesn't work. So, I'm not super worried about it. All right. I think the next one he asked about was chemtrails. Let me go back here. So, New World Order chemtrails. Okay. Chemtrail theories claims that the trails left by airplanes in the sky contain chemicals deliberately sprayed for nefarious purposes such as weather modification or population control. Proponents argue that chemtrails differ from regular contrails in their persistence and behavior, often spreading out to form artificial clouds. Excuse me. They cite soil and water samples showing elevated levels of barium, alumina, excuse me again, sorry, um, and other substances as evidence of chemical spraying. Additionally, patents for weather modification technologies and statements by government officials about geoengineering lend credence to this theory. All right. So I'm not saying that there's not chemicals coming out of planes. That's kind of like what exhaust is. Um, but if you think about it in the sense of Boeing can't even put together a plane that flies at this point. Like, they have gone backwards, like, 50 years in, airplane engineering. I don't think right now that people like Boeing have enough thought and, ability to comprehend putting chemicals that are going to, you know, genetically engineer, uh, the weather or change our behaviors or whatever. They can't even put a door that stays on mid-flight. That's more of a joke, um, than anything. I'm sure that I'm sure that people have thought about using chemtrails as a way for, like, population control. Again, trying to, I don't know, create infertility or something. But we as a human race are doing more than enough on our own to do that for ourselves, whether it's the microplastics or uh, typically when I use my microwave, I'll sit on it so that, hopefully my infertility goes up, whatever. That's not true. Um, but yeah, so it's one that even if it is happening, it's going over my head. That's how planes work. So I'm not going to think about that one as much. And then the last one he asked about was the Roswell UFO incident. Despite this happening in the neighboring state over from us to the east, I and I've heard of it, I just don't know anything about it. The Roswell UFO incident theory posits that the US government covered up the crash of an extraterrestrial spacecraft in Roswell, New Mexico in 1947. Supporters argue that the initial military report of a flying disc was quickly retracted and replaced with a weather balloon explanation, which they view as a cover up. Witnesses who claim to have seen alien bodies and advanced technology, as well as subsequent government documents acknowledging secret projects, bolster the theory. The consistent interest and secrecy surrounding Roswell are seen as evidence of a larger extraterrestrial conspiracy. Well, when you think about it, governments come out and said that aliens are real. That has created enough controversy in and of itself because, a lot of people are like, "Oh, we knew it. We knew it." And then you have the people that are like, "Oh, see, the government's announcing this because they want us to be worried about it, but what are they really doing? What are they trying to distract us from?" I don't know, that our government's incompetent? That we're I mean, for the last 12 years, we've been on the brink of a, government shutdown because of our budget. I mean, if that's what they're trying to distract us from, give me the aliens. I don't wanna read about that. But I will say this, I can't believe I didn't share this before. Um, May 23rd, I believe that was a Thursday. Let me look it up on my phone. Thursday, May 23rd, as I'm pulling it up on my phone. Yes, May 23rd, Thursday. My sister Sloan is graduating from high school, and um, we go to the graduation. We have a good time, snap some pics, but we're hungry after the fact, and we got to drive 3 hours back home because my other sister Livy is graduating high school as well, 3 hours north. So I am um, I'm driving. We're driving from the high school. We're going to Cafe Rio, best restaurant in the entire world, and we're heading to Cafe Rio when we notice. At first, it looked kind of like a helicopter with like a spotlight. It's kind of how or actually, when it was out in the distance, it looked like an airplane with its lights on, and that's what we thought it was until we noticed it was a lot closer than like an airplane should have been. And then we're like, "Oh, it must be a helicopter with a spotlight on it." And then we realized whatever it was, my sister Jashley has, like, video of it. It was crazy. I can't even explain what it was. It almost just seemed like this, like, floating, like, orb of light that was, like, slowly descending down upon us, and a lot of people are like, "Trey, like, you almost." Oh, sorry. We're gonna turn off my yeah, okay. But no, so this light started like descending upon us, and a lot of you guys are probably going, Trey, like Jesus Christ was coming down, and you were worried about getting to Cafe Rio. It wasn't bright enough to be Jesus Christ. Because otherwise, yeah, I would have just pulled over and would have been like, guys, let's get ready. It's go time. Um, this was definitely more either some sort of government aircraft technology, whatever you want to call it, that I am not aware of, or this was an extraterrestrial aircraft. And judging by like the erratic movement and like again the way it was just kind of like descending down, it definitely wasn't an aircraft. I will say that. So the only logical option left is that it was an alien. And I'll try to get the video from Josh to see if I can upload it to the Tender Mercies studios. Maybe yeah, let's do that. When you go to vote, as you should have already voted, you'll probably already see that there's also a new video up. So check it out. Let us know what you think it is. And yeah, it's probably not the best quality because it's a phone at night. And it was my sister using her iPhone for the first time. She'd had her iPhone for like 24 hours at that point. But yeah, guys, thank you so much for listening tonight. I'm gonna cut it off. We're almost to an hour and I'm just by myself. This is ridiculous. Um, Love and appreciate you guys so much for listening. It makes my day. I love going and checking out the statistics, seeing how many people are listening. Um, and again, go review it, rate it, share it with somebody. There's a share button. Uh, share this podcast or this episode with somebody. Uh, Tell them how terrible it is, so that they can listen to it and go, "Yeah, you're right. This is terrible." But if we get enough of us talking about how terrible this thing is, then yeah, boys, we will be on the rise, and it'll be thanks to you guys. So, have a great week, and I will see you guys next Wednesday, June 12th, with the finale of Battle Brackets.
so few, so proud, so emotional. Hello, Clancy.